Hi my friends, welcome to part 3 of my 4-part series where I'm showing you all of the fragrances in my collection. And if you don't know who I am, I'm Olivia, and clearly I talk about perfume. So if you like that sort of thing, please consider subscribing. And if you already know who I am, make sure that you watch part 1 and part 2 before watching part 3. Unless you're just really into Dossier fragrances, which is what we're going to be talking about today. So I needed to break down my collection into multiple part series because I have tons of body sprays, I have tons of perfumes, I have tons of samples, and I have an entire stash of Dossier. I have 38 fragrances from them alone, and I think they have quite a bit more on their website, which eventually I want to get my hands on all of them, but I'm waiting for a good sale. So I figured I would introduce you guys to my ladies today. So first off, I have their version of La Vie est Belle, which is Gourmand Orange Blossom. Very crowd pleasing, it's sweet, it's a little vanillic, and it's floral, and it'd make a wonderful gift because it is so crowd pleasing. And a lot of people are like, oh, it's so generic, it's so basic. As I said in my last video, do you need to be groundbreaking when you're going to your 9-to-5 office job? No, don't, okay? You just want to smell nice. And does it smell amazing? Hell yeah, it does. Next is their version of Tom Ford Metallic. This is called Powdery Hawthorn. This is interesting. This is a very interesting scent. So it's so hard to explain. It's almost salty, very, very, very powdery, almost talky. And it's very clean. It's got a little neroli and orange blossom in there. So it's got kind of a summery vibe to it. And for those people who like it, they love it. For people who don't like it, they really won't understand this scent because I find this is not a safe blind buy. Go to Sephora, smell metallic, see if you like it, and if you do, consider Powdery Hawthorn because they're super, super, super similar. Floral Pink Pepper. This is their version of Miss Dior Sherry, which I guess is discontinued, and that's the one that everybody raved over. Now to me, I find this scent to be mature and annoying. I'm just gonna say it. I don't like peppery notes. They burn my nose, and they do something weird with my body odor that makes it really, really sharp and unappealing. But a lot of people, they love the rose, the jasmine, the blonde woods, the vanilla, and that pink pepper. Apparently to everyone else, this is a very sexy fragrance. To me, I don't like pink pepper. I don't like pepper at all. I don't like it in fragrance. Just like that and star anise are an absolute no-go for me. I apologize for saying this once again, but this is called Oriental Sage. Now, keep in mind, all of the Dossier fragrances, they are changing to no longer include Oriental in their names because it's not necessarily an appropriate descriptor any longer. So this is their version of Fucking Fabulous by Tom... Oh wait, is that Tom Ford? Tom Ford. Oh God, I'm having such a blank. Okay, so this is an herbaceous type fragrance. So it's got kind of leathery notes and sage, which is what gives it that almost spa-like quality, and tonka bean and amber. And this is, from that sage, I would say that this is another one of those ones that's not gonna be a good blind buy. You have to know if you like that almost like herbal spa-like scent, and if you do, then this is a perfectly unisex spa-like experience that has enough depth to it that it doesn't smell like just essential oil. Fruity Orange, this is their version of Clinique Happy. It's nice, it's linear, it's a little boring, it's just a nice orangey fragrance. Nothing to write home about. Floral Violet is their version of Marc Jacobs' Daisy, and it's nice. Another crowd pleaser, another one that would be good for the office. It's sweet. Does this have violet? Yeah, so it has violet, it has strawberry. It's a good, everyday, easy reach sort of floral fragrance. One of my all-time personal favorites is Floral Grapefruit, and this is their version of Chanel Chance Eau Tendre. I've described it in the past as being a Moody bubble bath. So it's got that nice, clean, soapy fragrance, but then it has a rich, dark sexiness to it too. So this one could be used during the day, or it could be used at date night, or it could be used for cuddles, and it just smells like a warm hug, and by far one of my favorites from the entire range, and it smells exactly, I used to own the other one. It smells exactly like it. Floral Rhubarb is their version of Marc Jacobs Perfect. I've said this in past videos that it smells like a strawberry Jolly Rancher or cherry Jolly Rancher in the beginning, and then it settles down into a little bit more warm of a scent. But it is just bright, juicy, happy, sunshine, fruity summertime. Fruity Magnolia is their version of Bright Crystal. Another easy reach sort of fragrance. It's lightly floral with a little bit of soapiness. It's magnolia and peony, so it's not a really heavy floral. It's a light. And yeah, I find this one to be, again, this would be a great blind buy, good gift sort of fragrance. Fruity Jasmine is their version of Dior J'adore. And this one it's interesting because to me, their version has a little bit more of the sweet pea, a little bit more of the peach and the mandarin. It's got a little bit more fruity than the original. So imagine a fruity jasmine fragrance. Very, very much a jasmine fragrance. And the sandalwood is not that prominent in my opinion. Woody Sandalwood is their version of Santal 33, powerhouse of a fragrance from Dossier. If you're looking for something that is going to be woody, slightly masculine leaning, is going to last you all day long, this is a signature fragrance for so many people because it makes a statement without being annoying. It makes its presence be known, and it is powerful, but it's still pretty universally pleasing. It is powerful though, so if you're prone to headaches, I don't think I would suggest it. Fruity Honey is their version of Jo Malone Nectarine Blossom and Honey. This is one of those fragrances that it smells very nice to me, but it's so subtle that I don't find myself reaching for it all that often. It is exactly as it says. It's got a little bit of fruitiness, more so like, yeah, it's got peach in there. It has like a peachiness, but not a really tight, like a bright tart. And it's got that honey. So the honey is the main player in this one. And it'd be a nice, just summer fragrance. It's a little watery, and it's pretty understated. But the Jo Malone fragrances do not last anyways, so Fruity Honey is a better option. Aromatic Pineapple. This is their version of YSL Y. This is a cologne, and it is a freshie. But in my opinion, because of the pineapple, because of that clary sage and the bergamot, I feel like this is unisex in my opinion, although they kind of make it out to be a cologne. And this one is instant happiness for me. Fantastic summer fragrance, although you could wear it all year long. Perfect fresh fragrance. Gourmand White Flowers, this is their version of Viktor & Rolf Flower Bomb, and I find this one to be a little bit lighter than the original. I feel like the original has some darkness to it, and this one doesn't quite have as much darkness to it, but it still has that caramel, it still has that vanilla patchouli, so it does have some depth to it. It's not just plain white floral. And this, again, if you like La Vie est Belle, if you like Daisy, I think that you would like this. It's just a little step up. This is Aquatic Coconut. This is their version of Replica Beach Walk, and it is exactly as it sounds. It is beachy, it's coconutty, it's lemon, It's got some heliotrope in there, benzoin, tonka, and this is one of the ones that I keep all of these in the bathroom of my salon so that way people can try them out. This is one that people always walk out wearing because it just smells like summer. It is purely a summer, almost copper tony type scent, and it is it's invigorating and it's happy. Fruity Neroli is their version of My Way by Giorgio Armani, and it is a tuberose fragrance. So if you're not into tuberose, which does tend to be a classic fragrance, so a lot of people smell it and they think it's a little too mature, a little too grandma. I like tuberose. I like florals. It took me a long time to get there though. Originally, if I smelled something like this, I would be like, yeah, no, I don't like it. But this has like a sweet bubblegummy essence to it. So it's got the floral, but it is sweet, and it kind of smells like Hubba Bubba, and in a way that's not juvenile. So I think this one is actually a little bit more tolerable type of tuberose than the actual original. I feel like the tuberose in this one is tuned down just a little bit. It's not quite as sharp. So if you smell My Way and you're like, it's just a little too floral for me, this one is the bomb. Again, once again, they're changing the names, but this one is called Floriental Marshmallow, and it's their version of Killian Love Don't Be Shy. I've said this time and time again in so many of my videos. I'm not into this fragrance. I bought it to have it, but to me, it smells like cotton candy and marshmallow, and it's too sickly sweet for me. It nauseates me. But if you like really, really gourmand, sweet florals, this one is great for those of you who like that scent profile, because a lot of people really like it. I just don't fall in that category. But it's got marshmallow, vanilla, musk, orris, jasmine. So it's sexy. It's just too sweet for me. Ooh, I cannot wait for the warm weather because I'm gonna wear the hell out of this one. This one is Aquatic Peony, and it's their version of Acqua di Gioia. And I used to wear Acqua di Gioia when I was super young, 16 or something, whenever that came out. And I find it really funny because looking back at it, although it is aquatic, it's a freshie. I've loved fresh fragrances my entire life. There is a depth to this one that I'm like, wow, that's a little sophisticated for like a 16-year-old. You know what I mean? But, oh yeah, this one, it's so good because it's a freshie that's not fruity. It's just very aquatic, very watery, very, almost kind of reminds you of Oceanside, but without being coconut. Musky Musk. This is their version of Juliet Has a Gun, Not a Perfume. Fantastic for people who get headaches very easily or have any sort of illness that fragrance kind of triggers them a little bit more, because it's a very, very simple composition. It's Cetilox, and it's just going to bring out a natural musk. And it's very sexy. It's very sexy, but it is very simple. So if you're a type of person that's looking for something not perfumey, this is great. Ah, my baby. This is Citrus Green Apple, and this is their version of Dolce & Gabbana Light Blue, which was my signature scent for years and years and years. And I don't care if it smells like Lemon Pledge to other people. This one is a little bit more fruity leaning than the original. The original has a little bit more of that cedar wood, a little more musk. But this one is a little bit fruitier, still very effective if you like the original. Ambery Saffron is their version of Baccarat Rouge 540. I find this version to be a little bit more masculine than the original, is a little bit more sweet. This is a little bit more saffron leaning. So if the original was too sweet for you, I think that this one is fantastic because it's so sexy on anybody. And again, just as I said about their version of Santal 33, this is a powerhouse. This is like a 2 spray and it lasts all day sort of fragrance. Woody Chestnut is their version of Replica by the Fireplace. This is such a good winter fragrance. It's got some smokiness, but it's really balanced with the cedarwood, the vanilla, and it's got chestnut in there. So it's got that warm, wintry, slightly sweet and smoky sensation. Oriental Tobacco, they have since changed the name of that, but it is Tobacco Vanille by Tom Ford. And this one it's so bizarre to me because when I smell it, it smells like a Christmas wreath. It smells like cinnamon, although there's not cinnamon. It's got honey, cocoa, vanilla, and it's just, this is another really beautiful, warm, Christmassy type smell. Floriental Coconut is their version of Soleil Blanc by Tom Ford. This is kind of along the same lines as Beach Walk, where it is very summery, but it has a little bit more floral component. So this one has a little bit more of ylang ylang, tuberose, jasmine, and that's a little bit more prominent, little less heavy on the coconut, and this has benzoin, so it's got that creaminess. Musky Green Tea is their version of Creed Silver Mountain Water. I thought I would really like this, but to me, it does smell like the original, but I guess I didn't realize that the original, it smells watery, fresh and clean, which sounds like something I would like, but to me, this smells like a cheap men's cologne. It does. Even the original, that is incredibly expensive, smells cheap to me. So something about this profile, something about the muskiness in this green tea, I don't care for. Floral Lavender is their version of YSL Libre. I don't know how to say it. Libre. There we go. I'm gonna sound like an asshole. And this one it's pretty strong on that lavender note. So if you don't like lavender and fragrances, a lot of people say that leans masculine, and I'm like, what the hell about lavender is masculine? I think of a spa. I don't think anything masculine about it. But this has orange blossom, neroli, musk. So it's an herbaceous scent. It's herbal, but it has almost like a cologne-y type undertone to it. It's very sexy. Floral Musk, this is their version of Lancôme Idole. And this, to me, I can't really rock this one all too much because the jasmine tends to be an indolic jasmine that gives me quite a headache, and it has lychee in the beginning. So something about the patchouli is a little dirty, and so it's a floral that I find sharp and to give me a headache, but a lot of people are crazy about this smell, so don't get me wrong, it's beautiful, it's just a floral to me that's far too sharp. Oriental Oak Moss is their version of Coco Mademoiselle. And I have a client of mine that wears this as a signature scent, and I had her smell them side by side, and she almost couldn't tell the difference. She was able to tell the difference, but she was and I mean, she has been wearing Coco Mademoiselle for so long. So how it performs on the body, very similarly. There's something about this scent that doesn't rub me the right way. There's something in here, I don't know if I get along with patchouli all the time, but there's something a little bug spray about it that I'm not crazy about. But then some days, I'm like, I really want it. So I don't know what that's about. Okay, here we have Aquatic Lime, and this is their version of Aqua di Gio. Not the Aqua di Gioia, but there's something to me about this one that is more green than the original, and there's something missing. If you're a fan of Aqua di Gio, you're able to get that for a pretty decent price these days. I would say just buy Aqua di Gio. This doesn't smell bad. It smells lovely. And if you're not sensitive to smell, who cares? Like, get this one instead, save your money. But I will say, there's something about the original that this does not have, and I can smell the difference. I can immediately smell the difference. This is Aromatic Star Anise, and this is their version of Dior Sauvage, which is a super, super popular men's fragrance. I like this one because it is just so appropriate for every day, has a sexiness to it. This is definitely an alluring scent. And although it has pepper and star anise, which are two things that are like a hard nope for me, it's well blended with the geranium, the nutmeg, that I don't really pick up on it too much. It gives it an elevation without it being burning and itchy to my nostrils. If you're a fan of Coco Mademoiselle, I challenge you to try this one. This is Fruity Oak Moss, and this is their version of Creed Aventus for her. I think it's similar in a way, but this has a little bit more tartness and a little bit more fruitiness in the opening. And it dries down similarly to Coco Mademoiselle, but it's just more interesting in my opinion, because this has the green apple, bergamot, lemon, so that freshiness in the beginning that I personally like, that helps that kind of bug spray type smell that you get from Coco Mademoiselle. So then this, it settles down into kind of a dark and mysterious scent, but this is a powerhouse. This one lasts very long and it's commanding. Woody Sage is their version of Wood Sage and Sea Salt by Jo Malone. I find this one is a little bit more fruity than the original. It's got a little bit more of that fig, grapefruit, but I like it because it lasts way longer than the original. And this is one of those fragrances that it's hard to describe because it's got a saltiness to it and it's got a woodiness to it. But this is another one that's so incredible that it could be your signature scent. Woody Tobacco is their version of Jazz Club by Replica, and again, this is one that has neroli, pink pepper, things that I typically wouldn't care for, but it's very well blended. It's evening, it's smoky, but not as much as By the Fireplace. If you like By the Fireplace, but it's a little too smoky for you, try their version of Jazz Club, Woody Tobacco, because it has the tobacco, the vanilla, it has the dark, rich tone to it, and it's moody and sexy, very unisex, but it doesn't have that very smoky feel to it. Floriental Brown Sugar is their version of Mon Paris by YSL. It has a really playful, fruity beginning. It's got raspberry, pear, bergamot, and in the base it has amber, patchouli, orange blossom, and then the brown sugar is what really sets this off. It's fruity and sweet in the beginning, and then as it dries down, it leans more toward that vanilla sugar, brown sugar. So it's got a depth and it's not linear. And this is one that I find a lot of people adore this one. When they come out of this in the bathroom at the salon, a lot of people are like, I'm wearing the brown sugar one. And I'm like, yeah, of course you are. Everyone likes that one. Citrus Tea is their version of Thé Noir by Le Labo. This one is not a crowd pleaser. I think it would be pretty polarizing because it's got this earthy tone to it, and it's dark and it's mysterious and woody. And this one is not for the faint of heart. This is another one that 2 sprays last you all day, and it smells very similar to the original. I had a mini version of that one, and that, although it is polarizing, it's not a safe blind buy, is a compliment getter because it's definitely unisex. And so for those of you who are like me, who like to ride the line of androgyny and kind of play with the gender divide, this fragrance is mysterious and Phantom of the Opera. I don't know if that makes sense, but you know what I'm talking about. Woody Rum is their version of Killian Straight to Heaven. This one is dark, it's smoky, and it is ultra sexy. This is date night. This is more classically considered a cologne, but when I wear this, I feel powerful. And so if you ever have a situation in which you need to feel powerful and you want to make a statement and you want to make your voice be heard, I would wear something like this because Woody Rum, it's got that boozy touch to it. It's got a smoky, woody touch to it with some dried fruit at the beginning to give a touch of sweetness. Yeah, this one I'm crazy about. This one is a bizarre one, I won't lie. This is Musky Gaiac, and this is the version of Gaiac 10 from Le Labo. This one is polarizing, and to be honest, it smells like hickory barbecue, which is kind of weird, but honestly, sometimes I'm in the mood for it. And there's, as I'm smelling it right now, mind you, I'm still healing from the Rona. My nose picks up on some different things than I usually do, but it's incensey, it's musky, it's woody, and it's very dry. It's a very dry fragrance. So if you don't like any sweetness in fragrance, you're like, no, I don't want any sweetness, it does a weird thing on me, try this one. You might like it because it's very dry, and although it smells like hickory barbecue at first, you won't smell like food. You just smell woody. And last but certainly not least is Oriental Cherry. They've changed the name of it, and it is their version of Tom Ford Lost Cherry. Oh my God, this fragrance is a fragrance that I would buy a backup of. Cherry, almond, cinnamon, tonka bean, vanilla. So it's got that sweet, boozy cherry, but then it's got a really warm, almost decadent undertone. And it's just such a simple, powerful fragrance. Okay guys, so that's all of them. That's all of my big old collection. Sorry I rambled. I wanted to give little descriptors of all of them. If you guys have any like more in-depth questions, feel free to ask in the comments. I know I was just like spitting out words as quickly as I could to keep this not an annoyingly long video. But if you haven't already, as I said, this is a 4-part series showing my entire fragrance collection, starting with my body mists and lotions, to my minis and samples, to all of my Dossier, and tune in for my next video, which is going to be all of my proper bottles of fragrance, regular perfumes and colognes. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Again, I'm Olivia, and subscribe if you haven't already, if you made it this far. Thanks guys.